All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation, I'm here with Izzy Alkafas. We're going to do the Fridley Predictions for this week. Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Okay, game number 1, Kool Aid Kids will be taking on Noisy Withdrawal. Will this be Kool Aid Kids' first victory?
No, it won't, unfortunately. Unless Noisy doesn't show up with their full squad, or if they show up with 5, they'll win. Kool Aid Kids are too small. Hamill, Springer, Schwartz, even Magnuson are the biggest guys on the court. That's 4 guys. So even if 2 of them don't show up, you still got the 2 biggest guys. If 3 of them don't show up, you still got the biggest guy on the court. Kool Aid Kids, they really need a big. I think they'll be good. They had a big. They take some sketchy shots, and Noisy will make them pay. They play too good a defense. They run the break well, and they move the ball around well. Kool Aid Kids tend to get a little lost on defense, and they take quick shots. This is a really bad matchup for it. It might even be a worse matchup than, say, the Turtles or North Stars, because the Turtles would play them soft and they kind of just go through the motions. Noisy will play them from start to finish. So I'm going to say Noisy win by 29.
Okay, the other 6:30 game is who better, taking on now the 5-1 Killer Bees. Who do you have in this game?
Well, it's going to be interesting. We highlighted that Killer Bees haven't had that hard of a schedule. They beat 5-5. Obviously, 5-5 was shorthanded. It's still a quality win. You got to give them a quality win. Who better are more athletic than the Killer Bees? I like the fact that they added Joe to give him size. The one guy in the game that no team can guard is the fact that Ryan Pecky is on the Killer Bees. Who better doesn't really have a guard for him. So I expect him to have a big game, but I think who better are just an overall better team. I think they're just more athletic. They can run up and down the court better. Jerry for Killer Bees will have to support Ryan, especially if Ryan starts to falter. And I just think that the Killer Bees might be getting a little arrogant. So I'm going to say who better with the slight upset, and I think they win by 2.
Okay, 7:30 games. We got Callahan Auto Parts versus the Pigeons. Who do you got in this one?
Well, the Pigeons.
You don't have to offend me. You're not going to offend me at all.
I'm not. Well, they've been bad. They've been bad since the beginning. Well, the beginning of the season they're okay. They've just gone south ever since. Callahan is big, and the Pigeons are not very big. Callahan, you got Kevin Chase, you got Drew Martin, another guy, I forget his name, another big guy. So they got 3 bigs, and the Pigeons' biggest guy is Casey, and he's more of a power forward. So that's going to hurt. I think the perimeter play for the Pigeons is better than Callahan, but I just don't think that they don't give enough effort, especially on the glass, and that's where Callahan really makes their mark. They win a lot of offensive rebounds, and they don't really push the ball well, but they got a bunch of old guys that kind of know how to play, and they make sure the ball swings around and they get decent shots. It's a bad matchup for the Pigeons, and I think Callahan wins by about 17.
All right, the other 7:30 game, the Klub will be taking on the Ninja Turtles.
It's actually not a horrible matchup for the Klub. They play a little bit of hectic style, which the Turtles tend to struggle with. Ned is a really big body, which is going to be nice to have him guarding J-Sam. I think Ned needs to have the best game of the season for this game to be close. The Turtles might keep the door open for them, but the Klub tend to have really bad, costly turnovers at the wrong times. Adam Wright tends to get out of control. He gets in his own head. He obviously gets frustrated with the refs. And Steven Ellis really needs to calm that team down. Even Jordan gets out of control sometimes. So if Steven can calm that team down, they have a shot at keeping it really close. I just don't think that even if it is close, they can't finish it. So I'm going to say the Turtles will do just enough in the last 5-6 minutes to make the game a double-digit win. I'm going to say they win by 12.
Okay, North Stars taking on the Fob 5 could be a very exciting matchup here. What do you got in this one?
Well, it's going to be nice because I hear Rose is going to be back. So it should be full squad against almost full squad. Dustin DuPont will likely be out, and I think that will make the difference in the end. Noe tends to he got the best of him this season with the Lakers against the Rebels. He played well, but historically he's played poorly against him. So that we're gonna have to move Tommy on to Noe, which we haven't seen yet. So it'll be interesting to see if Tommy can guard Noe for 44 minutes, and then Chris Maher tends to struggle against Byrne. So that could be an offset there. The key is how recovered is Rowe from his injury. Because if Rowe isn't recovered and Chris can't get going, the offense is going to go through no way. And then last week it was awful for him. He had a terrible game. I think the North Stars will do just enough because Dustin may be out, and if he plays, he'll be hobbled. So I'm going to say the North Stars win, and I think they win a low-scoring game, and they win by 3.
Okay, 5-1, 7. We'll take on, I believe, 0-6 Stickball. How big of a margin will this one be?
It'll be a big margin. The 7 are just a younger, faster, more talented version of Stickball. Stickball play kind of quick. They don't really have anybody that they can go to get points, and 7's got 3, 4, 5 guys that can score 15 points in a given night, and they're more athletic. The horrible matchup for Stickball. 7, the only thing that can kind of slow the game down is if they kind of get in their own heads and they think that they're, going to just romp. And even if it does get close, they'll turn it on and they'll be able to win. So I think the 7 will win. It won't even be an issue. Elijah should have a huge game because Stickball's tall, but they're not really thick. Keon is the only guy that's really thick, but he gives up about 4 inches to Elijah, maybe 3-4 inches to Elijah. So I think he'll have a big game, and Brahma should have a big game, even though David Fala might guard him. I still think he has a big game, and the key for them will be Dustin. I think Dustin will probably lead that game in PPR is my prediction. So I'm going to say 7 by 28.
Okay, Woodbury. Haven't heard a lot from them this season so far, taking on the Fridley Bulls. Can be a tough night for Woodbury?
Yeah, the only guy that really stands out for Woodbury is going to be Michael Franklin because he's a freak athlete and there's nobody that can really put a body on him. Skaya and Helmy can't guard him because he's just too big of an athlete. He steps up to the three-point line and he's just too dynamic. However, he's not very consistent with his shot. So even if they give him space, he'll make the tough shots, but he won't make the contested. He'll make the contested shots. He won't make the open shots, and he gets a lot of offensive rebounds, but he panics and he misses them. So he'll be able to keep him in the game for a while. But essentially, you got Marcus, you got Wiskus, you got Helmy, and then you got Skye cleaning up the buckets, and even Stephen Kelsey's dynamic. So you got 4 guys for the Bulls that can put up 20 points in a given night, and Woodbury fall well short of that. So I think Michael Franklin has a big game. He'll probably have 5+ offensive rebounds and double-digit points and rebounds, but the Bulls just have too much, so I think the Bulls win, and I think they win big by about 26.
By about 26. I love it. This is a completely arbitrary number. Okay, last game of the night. Can the Huskies keep it going against them?
Yeah, I think the Huskies are a little bit better version than them. You got Jordan, who is smaller and a little bit worse down low than Fredrickson with them and Huskies. You got Hoyle, who's a little bit better than Tommy when it comes to just being overall offensively. He's not as good defensively, but I think they can mask Hoyle and put him on Lance, who just kind of takes threes. Devin's the key because Devin can drop 30 in a night and he can be efficient, and he can drop 30 in a night and it can take him 25 shots to get there. So he'll be the key for them. Hate that name. But I just think that the Huskies play better team ball. They'll move the ball around. They'll play better defense. And I think them is a little bit underrated defensively, but I think they'll get impatient and frustrated, especially if things don't go their way early. So I'm going to say the Huskies pull out a win, and I think it'll be late, actually. So I'm going to say a 5-point win for the Huskies.
All right, thank you, sir. 8 games in a little under 10 minutes, I believe. Thank you very much.